Good evening. Or good day, mate. I don't know what time of the day is. I don't know your life. Hi, it's DJ Mighty Iris. I probably could have started that a little sweeter. Apologies. Or maybe I'm not sorry. I don't know. This is a very exciting day for me. Anyone who knows me, I mean, you've heard, you've seen, you know. I'm a cheerleader for the slasher film Slaughter High till my dying freaking days. After a night of partying, I bring my friends home. I sit them down in front of the DVD player and I say, watch this! And what movie is it? It's Slaughter High. And another thing, I don't know if I've ever told anybody this, but I can trust you guys, right? I have Slaughter High underpants. And I never, ever take them off. Oh, good times. I'm just kidding. Imagine those dragons. And my favorite character from Slaughter High is Skip Pollack, Skippy Pollack, played by Carmine. You know what? He has a very Italian-sounding last name. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't. You know, actually, let me see if there's something on the internets that can help me here. Hold on. How to pronounce Skip Pollack from Slaughter High's last name. Let's see what happens.
Pronouncenames.com.
Oh.
Iannaccone.
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 Do we have the correct pronunciation of your name?
I guess we're going to find out, Cupcake. Because the Carmine Iannaccone is about 5 freaking seconds from calling in right now. Let's go. Hello, this is Iris.
Hi, we did it.
Hello, Mr. Carmine. I am starstruck right now. Okay, so forgive me, I'm a goon. How do you pronounce your last name?
Oh, don't worry about it. It's a tricky one. My last name is Iannaccone.
Iannaccone. I knew it. I looked it up on YouTube, and that's exactly how it was pronounced. So the I is silent?
Wow, YouTube will tell you that. That's amazing. Yeah, it's a name. It's from southern Italy, where my parents are from. And believe it or not, it's a very common name in southern Italy. And in Italian, I and A make a Y sound, letter Y in the Italian alphabet. My first language really was Italian.
Oh.
Yeah, but, you know, at home we spoke a dialect, specific southern Italian, Neapolitan dialect.
Oh, okay.
So when I went to college, I took classes and studied Italian. And also all through school, we were taught French. So I still remember a little French, but not as much as I do the Italian.
Wow. I'm of Spanish descent. And my teacher in high school would frown upon that. I don't remember anything I learned in my Spanish class. It's
amazing how quickly you lose it if you don't practice it.
I know. So thank you, first of all, for saying yes to me. I can't believe it. I'm speechless in that. Thank you.
Of course.
And I'm sorry for dragging you through the past like this, but what an honor it is, because anyone who knows me knows that Slaughter High is one of my favorite slasher films, and it's turning 40 next year. The internet says the release date was November 14th, 1986.
We filmed it, in 85. It would have been that summer of 85.
Okay.
So then, there was all the post-production work and stuff, and then they had to find a distributor. So, I think the distribution actually happened the next year in 86.
Just to start off, do you even like horror films?
Good question. I'm very glad you didn't take that for granted. The funny thing is, I'm not a huge fan.
Okay.
I like a certain kind of horror movie. I like horror movies that are hybridized, combined with like mystery or with thriller elements. Psychological horror kind of stuff. Yeah. But this particular subgenre of slasher film, it's a little bit intense for me.
Okay.
They scare me. I have a hard time.
Yeah.
I have a hard time watching them. They stay in my imagination for a long time afterwards. And you know what? Making this one was especially interesting in that I went into it completely naive. I didn't even know that there was this subgenre of like slasher horror movie, or that there were so many being turned out at the time.
Yeah.
So I was coming, actually from the completely opposite point of view as an actor, because the reason I got into this project at all is I was in London for a 1-year foreign study program at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art.
Wow.
And actually, there are 3 of us, I'm pretty sure, in the film who were in that program. And that's how they found us.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember who it was. Because it was a team of directors, right?
Yes, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, Mark Ezra, Peter Litton, and George Dugdale, I think is the third guy. Anyway, one of them, and was probably George, I think, lived near the school. which was in Earl's Court in London.
Mm-hmm.
So he knew that this program was there, and he knew there would be a pool of Americans that he could call on to cast.
Yeah.
So it's me, Michael Safran, I can't remember his character's name, and they approached the school and got the word out that they were auditioning, and that they needed people. Yeah. So we went in and auditioned, but I think that they knew that there were American actors there that would be available, so that they could cast this film and set this film in America, which is always a little bit of a mystery to me. I don't know why they needed to set it in America, because it made the accents an issue for a lot of the other actors who were Scottish and Brits. And then, like Donna Yeager, she was American. She was from Texas. Yeah.
That's where I'm from.
Oh, wow. Well, you want to know a funny story about Donna in particular?
Yes. I thought, is she the one that I heard a little bit of twang in one of their voices during the film?
Yeah, that's got to be her. She's she's the blonde, curly-haired blonde.
That's the one. Yes.
Yeah. Right. She's in the memorable electrocution scene.
Yes.
So after the film came out, people were writing about it, talking about it, and the accents on the part of the non-American actors was a concern and was a little bit of an issue. Some people liked it. Some people complained about it. The one person that people complained about the most, because they thought her accent sounded the worst, was Donna Yeager.
Oh, my gosh.
Because to them, even people watching it in America thought that, her Texas accent sounded fake. And it wasn't. She's totally from Texas, totally American, true, blue, 100%.
Was this your first on-screen anything?
First professional on-screen thing.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Very, very first thing.
Ooh.
I was, 25 years old. It was low budget, obviously, but it was definitely the real deal.
Yeah.
It was, shot on 35 millimeter film with a professional crew that, were really impressive, the crew. They became some of my best friends over the course of the shoot. I really enjoyed their company a lot. So we were all holed up in the school and working with people that were in that world. There were some legends on the set and some stories around them that circulated around them. And so all of that built up the nerves, the anticipation, the excitement, and the reality that I'm doing this and I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a big deal. I was an American in London. I had gone there to go to school, and by the way, the program that we were all in, the three of us, couldn't be further from the kind of acting that a film like this requires. Because we were there to study Shakespeare and Chekhov and so we were learning how to recite poetry and we were learning how to do accents. So anyway, it was all of that.
Yeah.
None of which served us one single bit for this kind of a film. Not at all, because it's camp, and camp is a style, is a skill unto itself and a really, really challenging thing, which I had no experience at. I don't think any of us did, which is why the performances are definitely a little bit raw and a little bit wanting. We were doing the best we can. Camp acting is challenging because you got to make that one note radiate. It's got to glow. It's got to be full of energy every time. It's very hard to do that and not let it go flat, not let it become boring.
Yeah.
That one quality. I think about campy actors at that time, people like John Candy, Jim Belushi, in Animal House, Steve Martin, the wild and crazy guy thing.
Yes, yeah.
Right. That's camp.
Were you at all like your character, Skip? Because he's my favorite. I think I've told you that, and I've tagged you in so many things. Were you at all like the goofball that he was? Because you played it really well.
Wow. Well, thank you. I am so flattered to hear that. Ironically, to tell you the truth, I had to do a lot of channeling.
Okay.
To get that note that Skip is. I was channeling people that I watched growing up, comic actors that I really loved, people like Jackie Gleason, who had that big personality, that wise, cracking kind of Joker kind of a thing. People like Zero Mostel were the people that I was thinking about as I did it. But that took work on my part. It's, I like a good joke. I like to laugh. I enjoy humor a lot. But I'm not really the life of the party kind of a person or a prankster. In many ways, I'm much more like Marty.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, much more introverted, certainly at the time, naive and pretty gullible.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Isn't that always the way though? Like the funniest people are mostly like the quiet ones. You had Caroline Munro, right? Gorgeous, gorgeous woman. Were there any on-set crushes that you can remember on her or on any of the cast members? Did y'all talk about that stuff?
Oh my God, Carolyn Monroe, she was one of the legends. She was one of the people that kind of cast a glow over the whole production.
Yeah.
Because, she had a lot more history and a lot more experience than any of the rest of us did. And, we were all aware of that. Most of us were all in one green room, the actors. I think the only people who had their own dressing room were Carolyn and Simon Scudamore, who played Marty.
Wow. Wow. So they had their own rooms?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The two of them had their own dressing rooms. I never got to interact with them at all, except on set.
Okay.
Compared to the rest of us who were all together in one kind of holding room somewhere in the basement of the school.
Oh, my goodness.
But, yeah. Carolyn, she had been a Bond girl.
Yes.
She had done The Spy Who Loved Me in 1977. She had done Casino Royale. And let me say right away, so I don't forget, that in spite of all of this, she was such a sweetheart.
Oh, that's awesome.
To this day, who she really reminded me of, or her presence was like? Really is the best way to describe it. She was like Glinda. She was like the Good Witch.
Oh, my God. That's magical.
Yeah. She really was that way. She was just very lovely, very sweet, and she never held our inexperience in any way, never judged it in any way. But because she had this history, her hair and her makeup person, who also carried this legend around her because she had been associated with, she had worked with a really famous Scottish singer whose name may not ring any bells now, but does the singer's name Lulu mean anything to you?
Lulu.
Yeah.
I wish it did.
Yeah, no, that's okay. We're digging back into the archive.
Yeah.
Lulu is the singer who sang To Sir with Love, which was also the title of a absolutely classic movie from the 60s about, interestingly, high school kids in England, delinquents. And the Sir that the film is referring to and that the song is about was played by Sidney Poitier.
Ooh, okay.
The most beautiful man in the world at the time.
Okay, I'm going to look that up.
Oh, yeah, do. It was a huge hit. I mean, it held a record for a long time. Her and Petula Clark, I think, were the only two British actors to top the American charts for up until like recent history. So Caroline had that aura around her of Bond movies and Lulu, but in spite of all of that, she was just a real sweetheart. It's one of the things that I'm most grateful for. There's actually some publicity shots, and there's even a poster that I found online somewhere that is just of she and I.
Oh, and that's so neat.
Those are neat. Those are really precious to me.
Oh, man. Do you know when the last time you actually watched the movie was, or have you seen it? The whole movie you have, right? Slaughter High?
Yeah. I've seen it the whole time, the whole thing. But, the last time that I've actually seen it through, first of all, the most recent time that I saw it, this is hilarious, I actually watched it in Hindi.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
On purpose?
Yeah, no, I mean, yes, no. I was just looking it up online because, the whole online world around this film is absolutely fascinating. So I was looking for it, and there's this version of it that there's somebody, is doing a voiceover description for people in India in Hindi. And that was really amazing to listen to it in that way. And amazing, that the film's had that kind of reach where even in India it's found its fan base.
Yeah.
But the last time I was able to actually watch it through, I have a version of it on, who knows if it even still works, on VHS tape.
Ooh, that's awesome. I have it on DVD, but yeah, VHS, that's awesome.
And I don't have a VHS player anymore, so.
Yeah, that part sucks. I don't know if you have Tubi. It's on Tubi. That's where I watch it. It's one of those movies that I can put on. It's like comforting to me, and I fall asleep to it a lot. It's, I don't know why I do that with horror films. It just, I don't know. I love it so much. But it's on Tubi, and that's a free streaming service if you ever want to watch it, like tonight or, whenever.
Yeah. Good to know. Thanks. I'm happy to be lulling you to sleep, to be your lullaby.
You are. You're my. Oh God, I love you in this movie, and
I do have very regularly people reach out to me, especially now that I'm on Instagram, on social media. But even before that, even right from the very beginning, people would find my phone number and at first I was surprised by that because I thought the film was just kind of a disposable piece of pop culture that would screen and then would just kind of like disappear or quietly retire to its grave. But the fact that it didn't, and in fact, if anything, has built up, the fan base has just grown and built up over the years, was something that really amazed me. And I spent a little time looking into that online. Who are these fans? What is this all about? And I was blown away at how loving that community of people is, how invested they are, not just in Slaughter High, but in that whole specialized, specific subgenre of 80s slasher flicks. They write long reviews, analyses, comparisons. They get clips of the film. They talk about it. They share it with one another. Really, actually, they have become my teachers. I think of it as that the film has become theirs.
Yeah.
And it's now something for them to do stuff with, to share with one another. It's like a toy. And I mean that in the best possible way. A really, fascinating, complex toy that they can play with and build relationships through it and communicate through it. For my money, if I have been a part of inspiring that or of helping to make that possible, I couldn't possibly be happier. I think that is just great, and I'm totally in debt to the fans.
There is this guy that has a YouTube channel, and he goes to visit movie locations for horror films, and he did one on Slaughter High.
Really?
Yes, he was there on that road that you're driving down with your little buggy, and it looked the same. And he went to the school. They wouldn't really let him in certain areas, but he tried to do that shot of Simon pushing the girl's face down into the, into the mud. Which is one of my earliest childhood memories that scared me. And the beer scene, probably why I didn't want to drink beer for a long time. I don't know why I was watching it or how. I might have been 7 years old.
Well, the effects are pretty good. I'm told, for given the budget that we had, they really did a good job with that. The reason we shot in that school, I think that's a really important part of what gives the film its qualities, and its scariness, is that school. It really was a school. It was called St. Marylebone Grammar School, and it was slated to be demolished.
Wow.
Yeah. Again, I think these circumstances kind of all came together for the producer, Dick Randall, whom we shouldn't leave off talking about for even just a second, because he was a legend. So they had this school, they had this site, they had this location, and it was perfect for a horror movie. And as far as I know, it was abandoned. It was definitely creepy.
Okay.
It just felt haunted. First of all, it was gothic in the way it was designed. And then you couldn't help but think, like, well, where did all the kids go? What happened to all the children? How does that happen to a school that it disappears like that?
The costume of the slasher himself is just so iconic to me. The court jester hat, the old man face, the Letterman jacket. Do you know who has the hat and the mask?
Oh, God, no. I have no idea. Yeah.
I was hoping you had it.
No, I don't have it. No, unfortunately. No, probably, ended up in the hands of whoever was doing the special effects, who designed them for us, because they were complex and they were pros. They knew what they were doing. So I wouldn't be surprised if they saw the value in something like that and kept it. Yeah, like the axe to the face.
Yes.
Right? I guess after 40 years, we don't have to worry about spoilers.
I was going to say no spoilers, but you have a violent scene. And did you have to do a face cast for that, or how did that work?
Yeah. A full face cast. We won't tell the fans out there, why this happens or how it happens. And that's not the real spoiler. The real spoiler is the ending, which we won't talk about at all.
Right.
And which I think is actually the creepiest part of the whole film. I mean, It still gives me the shivers to this day. But full face cast, and one of the deaths is by hanging.
Did you get injured?
No.
Sorry. Did I spoil that? But I was curious about that because it looks very real. You could have thrown your back out. You could have the landing.
I know. I look at that now and I think, geez, talk about being young, I guess.
Yeah.
And flexible. Not only
yes.
Just, it was a team effort. Everybody was very much willing to pitch in, and, we were moving fast. We were shooting fast. Everything was done in one take because, they didn't have the budget to do multiple takes. But there's a great story, though, about that scene. When we were shooting that scene, one of the challenges that day was that a critical member of the crew wasn't there. He didn't show up. And the rest of us, were wondering, what happened. The crew later told us, or told me anyway, that guy, when he was young, had gotten into some big trouble and was involved in a capital offense, or at least had been accused of something super bad. I guess, you can imagine what it might have been, because the penalty would have been, he was facing the possibility of a death penalty. And at that time, the death penalty would have been by hanging.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was enough to completely flip him out. that scene, and everybody was needed. Every hand was absolutely required on deck.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was totally cool with the fact that he couldn't be there that day.
Oh my God.
Too much. Yeah, it was just too much for him.
What? That is crazy.
I know. It's a film that has some interesting characters, interesting personalities, interesting stories. Like I say, the crew were really important to me. You know, I knew the story because I became friends with the crew, even more than the directors. They were great guys, but they were like really kind of always at the end of the rope, you know, stretched thin between wrangling people and changing the sides and the script. I think the script needed some revision before it was done. I read an interview with Mark Ezra, the writer, who says that at a certain point they realized that the film was going to be too short. It was coming in at 80 minutes, and they needed more scenes. I think that's why he invented the ending, to deal with that. But the crew, one moment that has stuck with me to this day, something that one of those crew members said, the DP, the director of photography. We were goofing around on the set, some of the actors, the guys, and somebody let fly a really offensive, dirty joke with a really gross punchline. And this DP turned around to us, and he just stared us, you know, straight in the eye in a fatherly kind of way. And he said, "Gentlemen, this is a film set." And that was it.
Oh, wow.
It stopped the trains. It stopped the clock. It stopped everything. He just said it with such authority. It's this idea that this was a low-budget film, and we were all stretched thin and playing multiple roles. But still, it was our film set, you know, and this was our film. What I've taken away from it is that it's going to be that way everywhere in life. Wherever you are, it's never going to be paradise. It's never going to be perfect, but it is going to be your nest. However humble it is, it's your nest. And don't poop in the nest. Yeah. And that was an important thing to learn. And those guys taught me that. They really did. You know, like, respect this.
Yeah, I love that.
One of the other legends, though, that I want you to know about is Dick Randall. Have you ever heard any stories about him or know anything about him?
No. Is he not one of the directors? I saw his name in the credits.
He was the producer.
Okay.
And he was another one of these legends on the set, and one of these legends in that world. He's actually in the movie. At the beginning, Carolyn, who plays an actress, right, in the film, and she calls her agent.
Oh, is that him?
Yeah, that's him.
Wow.
That's it. And I've seen some funny production stills of him on the phone in that scene, and the caption says, "Not a long stretch for Dick to play that producer." Because the way he plays him in that, it is literally the way he was.
Wow.
Kind of, like a used car salesman.
Kind of sleazy, yeah.
Kind of sleazy, yeah, but also in a lovable sort of a way. You know, like your disreputable uncle. Yeah. Whom you love precisely because he's disreputable. And, you know, he had become the king of these kinds of low-budget films. He had very shady schemes for raising money that he seemed to get away with. He was always one step ahead of the people that wanted their money back. And Mark Ezra, again, the writer, has this line about him that I always appreciate. For Dick, the title of the movie was more important than the movie. Wow. You know, there's the kind of mentality that Dick was working from. It's totally marketing, totally commercial, totally sales.
You know, I had actually heard there was a battle between your film and another film to get the name April Fool's Day, and that other film ended up being released in 1986 as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually finally watched April Fool's. I hadn't for a long time. So I was like, no, I'd be betraying Slaughter High if I watched it. Finally watched it, and I prefer Slaughter High. I'm sorry. I like it better.
Yeah. There's some promotional material out
Slaughter
there.
High is so punk rock, though. I love that name.
I like it, too. I like it a lot better, too. Yeah. And, you know, Dick was all about the title.
Yeah.
You know, the legend about Dick that everybody whispered around the set was that he was American, as you can tell, but he could never come back to America, and he never did. He died in England because there was an arrest warrant out for him in the States. Yeah, I mean, so.
Wonder what he did. Oh my God, he was probably naughty. Okay, wow.
He was a naughty boy.
Oh my goodness, I love all the juice I'm getting from you. This is great. I have another question. You're going to school me on this, but what music were you listening to back then in your 20s? Because I love 85 and 86. What kind of guy were you? Duran Duran guy or what?
No, not so much. You know, I was like Bruce Springsteen.
Ooh, yes.
He was absolutely a god to me. He was somebody I identified with really closely. Working class, East Coast. My dad was a construction worker. My mom was a janitor. in a building, and he was like singing. He was singing to the tribe. Funny thing, he published a memoir a few years back that I read. We actually have relatives from the same tiny little town in Italy. His mom was Italian. Yeah, I grew up always hearing about this place, this town called Vico de Quenze. It's Vigiwenz in Neapolitan. So I'm reading, here I am reading the memoir of Bruce Springsteen, and he talks about how his grandfather, I think, was from Vico de Quenze, this place in Italy. So that cemented it for me.
That is so cool.
Yeah, there was a big shift for me for the music that I was listening to when I was in the States. Reggae was ascendant then, but Bob Marley and the Wailers as well. But in England, there's a whole different palette of music on the table, which I completely fell in love with. And that was the Eurythmics.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah. Boy George.
Yes. That is so cool. Yeah.
Kind of more glam.
Isn't that New Romantics? Yeah.
I think so. The community around pop culture and pop music there is really, really impressive. People really loved their bands, that music.
Yeah.
You saw advertisements, billboards for it everywhere. I lived near Hammersmith. Would just be mobbed with kids, young people. It was kind of like, when you look back at movies of Beatlemania, real footage of Beatlemania, like all the girls screaming their heads off and the hysteria around it.
Yeah.
It was like that. They loved their bands. They loved their music. And that was really fun to be around.
I love that so much, man.
That's one of my regrets about Slaughter High, though. I wish the soundtrack were different.
I think there's only 2 songs that are played, I think, throughout the whole movie. And I sing it in my sleep because I know it so well. I'll be, feeding my cats or something, and I'm... can't even do it. I'm embarrassed. The background music when you're driving and when you're partying and drinking the beer, and just, it's so fun to me. I love it. But yes, I wonder what songs they could have picked for this movie had the budget been there.
Yeah, I know. I think because they did have a composer for it.
Oh, okay.
But I think he just recycled music from another horror film.
Oh, really?
I think. I'm telling you, the fans, you guys, you are my teachers. And I really mean that. You guys are, I go to the University of Pop Culture and learn from you guys. And fans have dug up all of this stuff, and, I read about it. And this is the level of detail that they're interested in.
How neat. Thank you, fans, then. I'm going to look deeper into that.
There is one funny thing about the soundtrack, though. There's a moment where Skip, his car breaks down, right?
Yes.
At the beginning.
Uh-huh.
That Volkswagen Beetle. Oh, and he's tuning the radio. You see him reach over to tune the radio.
Yes.
And nothing's playing. No sound is coming out. And he makes some crack about Barry Manilow.
Yes.
He doesn't want to listen to Barry Manilow, but they never spliced in the sound for the Barry Manilow song. I guess they ran into problems with the rights or something. Who knows? I don't know what that's about.
Yeah. If that was your real accent at the time, I love that it came out in that movie.
Oh.
You had a way that you said Barry Manilow. Like, it was almost like I don't know if it's New York. I don't know what it was, but there was something there. You had some kind of New Yorkish thing happening with the way you spoke in that movie. I loved it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. That was kind of like, the Borscht Belt kind of comedians that I was thinking about. Jerry Lewis.
Yeah. It showed. Yeah. I love that. Okay. It all makes sense. I'm so thankful you let me talk to you. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh my God, Iris, the feeling is totally mutual. I so much appreciate you. I'm your biggest fan on Instagram. I love what you do. You always make me laugh.
Do I really? Are you hearing this, America? I just want people to know. And you know my name. I'm starstruck forever now.
Hey, you're the mighty one.
I make you laugh. You make me laugh. I mean, let's go bowling. Or if you're ever in San Antonio, Texas, let me know.
I would love to do that. Yes. Thank you so much. And to you and to all the other fans who have kind of lit this flame for this silly little thing that we did in the 80s. But that has, really proven to be meaningful to people in a lot of different ways. And like I said, that makes me so happy. I can go to my grave thinking I did one good thing.
Aw, you are so nice. And thank you so much again. And I love Slaughter High to my dying day.
Thank you, my dear.
I'll
be watching you on IG.
Thank you. And I'll be watching you too. Do you sell your artwork, by the way? If you ever want to frame something, I would love buying one of your drawings. They're so pretty.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was my life after acting. I transitioned over to studio art, and that's what I've been doing for a million years now, painting and drawing. What's coming in the near future are zines and publications. That's what I'm moving into now and really interested in doing. I've got a couple in the pipeline, and those will definitely be somehow available for people to buy. high. So
Okay.
I'll save one for you.
Yes. Again, Carmine Iannaccone, right? Iannaccone.
Brava.
Woo.
Yeah, brava. Iannaccone. Very good.
Iannaccone. I love that last name. Thank you so much, Mr. Carmine. I'm a huge fan, and you're amazing. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Iris. I love you.
No, I love you too. Okay. You hear that, America? All right.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
bye. What a slaughter high sweetheart.